Welcome to the Stephen L. Clark Gallery. I'm Steve. This is another chapter in the Letscher story. This 19th century house, owned by Sally and Bill Whitliff for near 50 years, is a house of stories. O. Henry lived here. Bill, Steve Harrigan, Bill Broyles, and Bud Shrake all wrote here. Lance's collages are graphic in nature, but rooted in narrative, many being done on old books. Let's go take a look.
So this one's about a flood, obviously. There's a small house and there's a waterfall. It's broken up in layers, sort of space with the plants. Plants were primarily chosen for color, trees and flowers. And all the water imagery came from old lithographs, 1950s lithographs of sailing ships. I've been working in collage since about 1996. At first they were very simple kind of drawings cut out and superimposed on one another, very minimal, no color. And over the years, the work has evolved into the present kind of phase, which is highly coloristic. A lot of the imagery is based on nature. I buy tree catalogs from 1930, you know, different vintage printing. I emphasize the quality of the printing, so a lot of the materials that I purchase are things that are unusually printed, special color drops on the fruit or on the plants, ocean illustrations from Walter Foster How to Paint books. There's a painterly quality to the collages this year that has kind of crept in and become a theme, a dominant theme. This is where I work most of the time. I spend most of my days looking through this magnifying glass and using this short knife to cut out the items that I use in my collages. So when I first cut everything out, I assemble it without glue. So this whole piece is in transition, kind of basically. When I start to glue it up, I'll take everything up and put down a board and coat the board with glue, and then start coating the backs of the pieces with glue individually. Just kind of rub the back like that, and start gluing it down. I sort of have to memorize the piece to get everything kind of generally back where it is. I have kind of general guidelines in my head that the more colorful trees are going to go across the top of the horizon, and you know, the apples are going to go up through the center like this, and there's the peaches in the center. But the pieces tend to morph and change generally as I glue them up, and sometimes it's for the better. I try to let things happen. I try to memorize where everything is going to go, but because that's really kind of impossible. Like, things change as I'm gluing it up. But I'm an opportunist, and I believe in accidents and serendipity, and I want things to change in a good way as I'm working. So I'll really concentrate hard when I'm gluing things up, and sometimes they get better. I kind of keep working on the pieces until there's a sense of balance and of saturation. I don't want them to be too busy, but I want them to be dense enough to where there's a longevity to the piece. There's a lot to see, and there's a lot that you don't see at first that you see gradually over time. And so that's kind of the point that I tend to push them to. And over time it's evolved and become more, the pieces have become more dense and layered, multi-layered. This piece is a lot about space. There's a sense of space. There's different parts that have implications of perspective, and the distance of the mountains compared to the proximity of the fruit. For instance, I want to have a dense kind of spatial quality. So it's a little bit intangible. The decision to make when it's actually finished, but I kind of have an intuition for it, I guess. This is one of my favorite pieces in the show. It's built up on tin and wire that's been stapled down with a roofing stapler, and then collaged with paper over it. So this section in the center, you can see through to the substrate that I just described. This is the largest piece in the show. It's 60 by 85 inches, so it's about 5 feet by 7 feet. It started out as a smaller piece, this section right here, and because of the availability of the materials that I was using, the fish imagery, sea life, ocean imagery, because I had so much of it, I decided to expand the piece and make it really large. I just want to say thank you to Stephen Clark for giving me the show and the opportunity to show, and I hope as many of you as possible can come out and see the work in person. It's quite a different experience seeing it in person as opposed to on the computer screen or digitally.
Thanks for the virtual visit. Come for an actual visit and create your own story from Lance's work. We're here 11 to 4, Tuesday through Saturday, and by appointment. We practice safe art.